So why do Harley get a load of hate and negativity? Roll the intro. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little video today about the negativity I keep hearing about Harley Davidson, and I just want to give my point of view on each of those critiques or criticisms or whatever you want to call it that you keep hearing about Harley Davidson. So the first one is they're too expensive, and there's no doubt about it, they are an expensive product. There are a lot cheaper bikes out there that you can certainly go for. However, with a Harley Davidson, they are premium built, premium parts. You could argue that, I suppose, if you don't ride a Harley Davidson, but they're solid, all solid. And also, on the flip side to expensive, is they hold their value really well, really well. So although you're spending a lot out on the initial outlay, if you do look to sell your bike, then you'll get a far better return than any of the Japanese bikes that you're looking at. So there's pros and cons with both of those, really. As I say, yeah, it's more of an expensive outlay, but I do honestly believe you're getting a premium product. And on the flip side of that, it's not an investment, because the vehicle is never an investment. But when you do look to sell, your vehicle is not gonna depreciate as much, certainly not as much as most other bikes. So that's the two ways you can look at that. The other negativity I keep hearing is they're too slow. Now, they're not designed to be super quick bikes. They're not sport bikes. They're not naked street fighter bikes. They're cruiser bikes and bagger bikes. And they're cruiser and bagger bikes by definition. So that tells you they're not meant to be sports bike quick. However, they're quick enough. They are very quick in the low end. So I'm cruising along here probably about 2,000 revs per minute in 5th gear, and I'm doing 40 miles an hour, and you're saying, well, that's nothing special, but I can just open it up and then I'm away. Any gear, absolutely any gear. Where if you're in a lot of other bikes with a high horsepower, then obviously you need to really use that throttle to maximise the power from those. So it is a different type of power. Harley Davidsons are all about torque, low end power out of the factory, and I personally think that's more usable power, and it certainly goes in line with the niche of the genre of the bike. As I say, they're designed not to be ridden stupidly aggressively like a sport bike, and you can get the power whenever you want it at the low end. So again, negativity, yes, but positivity, I find in real term worlds, is far more beneficial from the low end torque from a Harley Davidson. So that's the second point. Third point I keep hearing is they're too heavy, and there is no doubt about that. They are extremely heavy bikes. They're probably the heaviest bikes on the market. This is a Softail, and it's 317 kilos or 700 pounds, which is no light bike. And me being only 5'6", 70 kilos dripping wet, then the problem comes when I'm trying to maneuver the bike. So obviously if it's I'm trying to maneuver it around when it's not going, then it is a really heavy machine, and you've got to think about that. You've got to plan ahead about where you're going to park, so on and so forth, not to get yourself in that sticky situation where shit, I can't move it. So yeah, it does take a little bit more planning than the lighter bikes. However, again, on the flip side to that, I will say that makes them super planted. I've never ridden sport bikes, so I can never sort of comment on those, but I've ridden naked street bikes, the Ducati 821 Monster, the Suzuki SV650, and they are quick bikes. They're very quick, they're very light. However, When you're looking to go down the motorway or freeway in America, I find that wind really affects you on those bikes, and it gets a little bit squeaky bum time for me. I'm not the bravest man in the world when I'm on two wheels, and I don't like to take risks. I would say personally I would rather have a heavier bike that helps me feel more planted than a lightweight bike. So yeah, there's pluses and negatives on both sides of the fence with regards to that. Next one I always find is handling. Oh, Harley Davidsons, they don't handle very well, they can't turn, so on and so forth. Again, they're not sport bikes. They're not designed to have the mobility of a sport bike or a naked street fighter bike. However, the handling on these, again, I suppose it depends on what type of what model of bike you go for. I can only speak as I find, but the Sport Glide's handling is exceptional. It's really flickable. It's the suspension, the stock suspension was good, but now I've improved the suspension. The ride quality is second to none, and as I say, I certainly cannot fault the handling on these bikes. I've even ridden the Breakout, which I'm going to link here, the 2023 Breakout, which is the Breakout, which has got the 240 rear wheel tyre, and everybody says they're a real sod to turn and they take a lot of effort. Again, I didn't find that. Obviously I wasn't going around twisties and stuff like that, but everyday riding, yeah, it was no problem. It was no problem at all. And for that type of bike, it is designed not to go round twisties. So again, these bikes are all designed for different things. So you're trying to compare apples and oranges when you're trying to compare the agility and handling of a sports bike as opposed to Harley Davidson, and these do exceptionally well for what they're designed to do. So yeah, I cannot fault them with regards to that. Next one I keep hearing is there's no tech on the Harley Davidsons. They're outdated technology. Yeah, I probably tend to agree. Again, some of the newer models may have the TFT screens, but the older models no. We've got this large digital tachometer in front with a little digital display. All I've got on this bike, it comes standard with ABS, so there's no issues with that. It's got cruise control, adjustable rear suspension for the preload, keyless ignition and alarm system. And yeah, again, you go to the modern bikes, the BMWs and stuff like that, and they've got far more technology on them. Completely agree. And if that's your boat, then that floats your boat, then obviously Harley Davidson's not for you. But the beauty about Harley Davidson is they are just pure motorbikes. Going back, it's all about heritage, classicness, and the technology on these bikes is what you need to ride a bike. If you want all the technology to keep you connected to the world 24 hours a day while you're riding, fantastic. But my idea, and I'm sure a lot of Harley Davidson riders' idea of when they get on their bike, is they want to get away from things. They want to get away from their world, and they don't want all that. So again, yeah, as I say, it hasn't got traction control, so on and so forth, but it gives everything I need. And as I say, if you're really one of these people that really want technology, Harley Davidson's is probably not the right bike for you, and I totally respect that, completely respect that. So we go on next. The people that ride Harley Davidsons, they're bad people, blah 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 blah. Now again, that's a very stereotypical point of view, going back from the motorcycle gangs of the past, and I'm sure there probably still are plenty around, but the vast majority of Harley Davidson riders are not like that. My local chapter, where I'm going down to today, there's a cross-section of people from, I would say, 30-year-old up to 70s and 80s, and it's not right. Well, I haven't met one bad person amongst a lot of them. They're so welcoming, so friendly. They'll come up and talk to you at any time. and they're not Harley Davidson freaks. You would think, oh, like the people that ride Harley Davidsons only like Harley Davidsons, they don't appreciate other bikes, they're snobby about Harley Davidsons. You couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion. Most of them have got other bikes which are not Harley Davidsons, and down at our dealership there's plenty of other riders come with other types of bikes, and they're welcome, as I say. So again, that's very stereotypical saying they're bad people. I'm sure there's bad people that ride all types of bikes, so try and get away from motorcycle gangs, Harley Davidsons, bad people. That's really not the case, really not the case. I would really challenge that point. And the final point I want to come up with is basically, they say the dealers rip you off, so on and so forth. The Harley tax. And okay, there is a Harley tax, no doubt about it. If you're buying aftermarket parts for Harley Davidson, you pay through the nose. Absolutely, you pay through the nose. But then that's about the type of brand, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. As I say, I class this as a premium-ish brand. It's certainly a bike that a lot of people aspire to own. So you do pay premium for aftermarket, but then, as I say, if you have a ride, I'm not comparing this to a Rolls Royce or anything like that, but if you have a Rolls Royce or you have a Maserati or whatever, you pay for having that. So basically, if you want to have services done, you want to have modifications, you're going to pay through the nose. And that's exactly the same with Harley Davidson. But the thing with Harley Davidson, there's so many companies that support the aftermarket, you can shop around and you can choose to do certain modifications, and you can choose not to. As I say, out of the box, the Harley Davidsons are a fantastic machine anyway, so yeah, everybody's going to want to go and do some modifications, but the actual modifications you need to do are minimal. So again, yeah, you will pay over the top if you want to really modify your bike, but again, that's about making the bike yours, and it's your choice if you want to do that. Nobody's forcing you to do that. With regards to the Harley dealers, again, surely that is dependent on each dealer, and you get the same with any brand. The dealer and the brand that you're dealing with is only as good as the dealer you're dealing with, and every dealer is completely different. And I've had mixed experiences with dealers here in the UK. I've had dealers that I think are just money making machines. That's all they want, that's all they're interested in, is getting your money. And I just walk away from those dealers just the same as anyone else can. And then I found Sykes, Harley Davidson, down in Sussex, and that couldn't be further from the truth. They are incredible, absolutely incredible. They don't rip you off, they tell you if they think what you're doing is right, they give you alternative solutions, they'll give you a cross range of solutions to meet certain budgets, and they won't push you down a certain route or push you to do anything. They're just really, really good. And I'm sure you've got dealers like that around you. So again, I personally think a dealer is only as good as the people you're dealing with at that time, and the ethos of that individual dealer. You've got to remember, these are franchises of the dealer to franchises of the motor company, with whichever motor company you buy from, and they've got their own sales ethics, and they've got their own ethics about how they deal with clients and customer service. So my argument is, if you don't like the dealer that you're dealing with, don't deal with them, don't give them your money, go elsewhere, because there will be a dealer that you'll find that will treat you the way you want to be treated. So just don't take it. And they say that's not Harley Davidson, that's absolutely everybody. So yeah, so they're the main bits, so they're the main sort of criticisms I have heard when it comes to Harley Davidson, and some of them are justified. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Harley Davidson, I know it sounds like a Harley Davidson loving, it really isn't. Some of the things that Harley Davidson do on their bikes is ridiculous. But hey, I'm sure it's the same for every dealer. So they've got their good points, their bad points, but I think it's fair, it's only fair to put an alternative side to the story about the negative criticism you keep hearing. And I do find the negative criticism I hear about Harley Davidsons from people that have never ever thrown their leg over a Harley Davidson and ridden one. So again, what can you do? How can you criticise something when you know absolutely nothing about it or have not experienced it? I could never criticise another brand unless I'd ridden that brand or I'd experienced that brand, and then I know a little bit what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's my take for today. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Say it's a little bit something different for today, but I thought I'd throw that out there. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. If you've liked this video, please press like, and it would be great if you could hit that subscribe button, get my subscribers up, and hit that notification bell button. So yeah, I really appreciate you watching, listening along and watching. And until next time, ride safe, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.